Kirsten Oswald.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. If I can begin by congratulating the member for Stoke-on-Trent North and Kidsgrove and the other members who have already made their first speeches so well today. And it is with a great sense of honour that I make this speech in this important debate here today, and with a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility to the people of East Renfrewshire. I chose to live in East Renfrewshire with my family, and there is no place that I would rather be. East Renfrewshire is made up of some of the most vibrant, active and diverse communities in Scotland. And just like the new members on these benches here, East Renfrewshire benefits very significantly from the diverse backgrounds and traditions of its people. For those of you who may not be familiar with my constituency, it sits just to the south of Glasgow, stretching from the city boundaries right out to Whitelea Forest in the south. And the distinct areas that make up the constituency all have a strong sense of identity, and perhaps an even stronger sense of community spirit. I'm delighted to follow such a high-profile MP as my predecessor, Jim Murphy. No one can dispute the mark that he made on Scottish and UK politics, and I wish him well. There has never been an SNP MP in my constituency before. In the 2010 election, we were fourth. In fact, prior to 1997, East Renfrewshire was the safest Conservative seat in Scotland, and since then it has been considered to be one of the safest Labour seats. But the appetite for change in Scotland is immense, and my constituents, just like people all over Scotland, want their voices to be heard loudly and clearly. They expect to be listened to, so they should, and this House must recognise that. East Renfrewshire is blessed with rolling countryside and farmland, with glorious parks and suburbia, and it is a beautiful place. The lovely rural village of Uplomoor leads down the ancient parish of Neilston, with its beautiful old church, travelling north to the bustling town of Barrhead, home of the famous Arthur Lee Football Club, and east to our largest town, Newton Mearns, a modern area in many ways, but with roots stretching back to the Bronze Age. And on through the beautiful Rookenglen Park to Thornley Bank, where the Crum family for many years combined their print works with philanthropy, and to Giffnock and Eastwood Park Theatre. And then to my own home area of Clarkson, with the National Trust for Scotland's Greenbank Gardens, and Busby, where it's a pleasure to walk in Busby Glen. There's a scenic route along the White Cart Water, through Waterfoot, and up to Eaglesham, a historic conservation village, and gateway to the wind farm at Whitelea. So East Renfrewshire is in many ways a place of contrasts, just like modern Scotland. We are lucky to have active and energetic faith communities playing a full part in our local life. This includes being home to Scotland's largest Jewish community, a growing and vibrant Muslim community, and thriving Christian, Hindu and Sikh communities. And we have an incredible community spirit in East Renfrewshire. Groups run by local people are at the heart of our area, and they contribute hugely to making it the positive and welcoming place that it is. Groups like the Neilston and Uplomoor first responders, who have dealt with hundreds of emergencies over the last year, and like the Queen's Award-winning Super Kids Club for children with additional support needs and their families. The great range of community and voluntary groups hugely enrich my area. People are incredibly community-minded. They turn out in huge numbers for events like the Eaglesham Fair, which took place very successfully amidst high winds and torrential rain on Saturday. And they turn out in huge numbers for elections too. I am very privileged to represent an area with such an engaged electorate. Historically, East Renfrewshire industry was based on cotton mills, manufacturing and farming. The balance of business has changed. We continue to have a number of farms in our rural areas, and we also have a range of other successful businesses. Many of them benefit from positive business growth schemes like the Small Business Bonus. Many more would benefit from the increased economic powers we would like to see. Our businesses now range from high-end international companies like Lynn Products to small businesses like the Wee Fudge Company, operating from a house in Stamperland and producing the most delicious Scottish fudge that would surely sell well in the members' tea room. And of course, we need all of our businesses to thrive, no matter their size. And for that, we need the levers to grow our economy and to ensure that more of my constituents are economically active. And many people in East Renfrewshire are doing well. They live comfortably in our lovely leafy suburbs or our beautiful rural villages. But it's not like that for everyone. A great many people in East Renfrewshire wouldn't recognise that reality at all. Many people struggle. They struggle badly. They struggle to feed themselves and their families in lovely, leafy East Renfrewshire. We have food banks because we need them. We have a school uniform bank because we need it. And that is a scandal. I have seen for myself the difficulties and indignities people are facing, and I cannot begin to understand how in 2015 families and children in my community are hungry. Children are going to school without breakfast. These are children whose parents are doing their best, but who face barriers that are just too great for them to surmount. Families where people are working, families where people would like to work, families where someone has become ill or disabled. If a measure of our society is how we treat the most vulnerable amongst us, we have a very long way to go. And people all over East Renfrewshire see this. That's why they voted for change. And that's why they voted for greater powers for Scotland, to allow us to make the changes we need to ensure that we can have a sustainable, successful economy, as well as making sure that we no longer neglect those of us who are struggling. And things have moved on significantly since the Smith Agreement. This election result reflects very clearly that the people in my constituency and that the people across Scotland voted for something more. They voted for real powers to create more jobs, to boost wages and to protect our welfare state. That's why it's vital that our voice is heard here very clearly in relation to this Scotland Bill. People in this House have spoken a lot about aspiration over the last couple of weeks. Many people in my constituency aspire. Our schools are the envy of the country. But aspiration is a very uneasy bedfellow with the ever-increasing inequality in our society and in our communities. This government has the opportunity with this bill to make sure that Scotland has the powers to deliver successful economic policies and to tackle that inequality. And we will push every day to do that.
Here.